On this edition of Lakeville City Limits, in our History Moment, we take a look back at one of the oldest families in town and learn how the Jensens contributed to the community. Next, I talk with Panaprog President Diana Niemeyer about this year's celebration, and we find out about how reserving that spot for the parade is changing. And finally, we head across the street and find out about events at the Heritage Center. Hello, I'm City Administrator Steve Melke. Welcome to City Limits, Lakeville's public information program. Lakeville's rich history can be traced back to when Captain William B. Dodd first came through this area in 1853 when he was creating a road from St. Paul to southern military forts. Over time, people settled in the area, including the Jensens, who moved here near what today is the intersection of Interstate 35 and County Road 46. In today's History Moment, we'll take a look back at the Jensens family.
My mother was born in 1898 and my dad was born in 1899, and they started a small farm in Richfield. My father was a pretty progressive person as far as I can remember, and he was looking to expand the operation. And in 1925, the new bridge was built over the Minnesota River between Bloomington and Burnsville, which gave the people access to the southern metro, or the southern area. It wasn't metro at that time, but they evidently went out south looking for a bigger farm. I mean, Harry Streeflin had a lot of land in that area, and that's when they found one that they liked. It was 100 acres in the very northern part of Lakeville Township. They moved out there in the spring of 1927. There was a real nice barn on it, and I think that's what my father really was looking for. And there's a little story about when they were remodeling the house, the people had what they called a airtight stove to heat it, and it got too hot overnight and it burnt through the floor, and they found the stove the next morning in the basement. And how come that never burnt the house down, nobody knows. Jim was born in 1923, I was born in 1925, and Robert was born in 1928, and my sister Camilla was born in 1932. Bad part started when he lost his arm, about in 1933. They got cut down his ability to milk cows, of course. He could only do one hand at a time, so he went in and he bought a milking machine and put in a milking machine, and shortly after that he got interested in electricity. He put in a 32-volt electric plant in the barn, and that ran the milking machine. We also run wires to the house, so we had electric lights, just lights in the house, but that was pretty neat for that time. And then he had the first rubber-tired tractor in the area, and he bought that about in 35, I guess. And then that come up to a big disaster when he died in 1936. In 1939, the barn caught fire and burned, and it was kind of tragic. The hired men had been out and put the cows in and got ready to milk. They would often come in for a cup of coffee, and then my mother looked out and seen the smoke was coming out of the barn. So Jim and I weren't up yet, but we got up fast, and everybody went out, got the cows out of the barn, and Jim and I found some pipe wrenches and took the milker pump loose and got that out. And I don't know why we got to that, but that we didn't. We dropped the pipe wrenches on the floor, and after we cleaned up everything, the pipe wrenches still laid on the floor. And there's all the neighbors from all around the area came in and helped haul all the residue away, and so they got started building a new barn, and everything kind of changed in 1946. Jim got married, and they built a small house. He married a girl from downtown Lakeville, Ruth Mahold, and her dad was a cement man, and so they dug a basement, and we bought a double garage from Sears Roebuck, and brought it out there, and that's where Jim and Ruth lived for until 1948. Then he acquired a farm out in the eastern part of Lakeville Township on Flagstaff Avenue, which is Flagstaff now. And there he farmed for 5, 6, maybe 10 years. He got elected to the town constable and served at that for a few years. And when the city, the village of Lakeville and the township merged, then he became the second town officer. And he patrolled the whole city. And he was policeman in the city until he retired in 1986. And then he died in October 2013. There was a park in downtown Lakeville that was named after him because of his service and the police department. We'll talk a little bit about my brother Bob. He was married in 1948. He married a girl from Bloomington. Her name was Bernice Paul. And in the spring of '49, they acquired a farm out in Cedar Lake Township in Scott County. And they farmed there for about 10 years. Then they were able to acquire a farm in Lakeville Township. It was on Flagstaff Avenue, about a mile north of where Jim lived. And he farmed there and became interested in, or he was elected to the town board, and he served on the town board and as chairman of the town board and he was elected to the first city council, and he also served 4 terms in the state legislature. He was served a term on the Dakota County as a Dakota County commissioner, and he was on the Dakota Electric Board of Directors for a number of years. My sister was married in 1949, right out of high school. Her second husband was Stanton Lilly he was from Lakeville, and they eventually moved to Washington, Seattle, Washington, where he got his work brought him out there, and they lived there for a few years. Then they moved to California, where they had a restaurant, and they had a hardware store for a while, and eventually they retired, and they now live in Las Vegas. 1949 was a big year for me. I bought my mother out, took over the farm in February. I bought a new car and took delivery of that in June, and I got married in October. I married a gal from Richfield. Her name was Tanette Johnson, and we took over the farm then and run it. And it was in 1952, one of the big issues came up. They came to the door and were going to build a new highway across the farm, which wasn't accepted very well. But anyway, they built it, Highway 65 at that time. And later on it was increased up to a freeway. But anyway, then in 1954, we found a farm right down here, Lakeville, just a quarter of a mile from here. And we were able to acquire that, and we moved down here, and that's where we spent our years farming. It was 240 acres when we bought it, and I later added an 80-acre parcel to it. So I had 320 acres, and I started selling that off in 1982 and retired in '84. I was involved in quite a few different things. I spent quite a bit of time working with the National Farmers Organization, held several offices in there. I was a charter member of the Natural Resources Committee. I served on there for 12 years, and also a charter member of the new Lakeville Area Historical Society, and was president of that for several years. Having grown up in Lakeville, it's been a wonderful place to grow up and to live, and we just enjoyed it. All of us were involved in the city to some extent, and we just always thought it was a great place. All 3 boys really enjoyed our life here in Lakeville.
Hey everybody, I'm Officer Don Nuts for the Lakeville Puppet Security, and I'm here today to talk to you about potholes. Hey, if you're driving around the city of Lakeville and you see these nasty potholes in the street, there's numbers that you can call to get those potholes fixed. You can call the city street department at 952-985-2711 and report that pothole. Or you can report it online at the city's website at www.lakevillemn.gov. Remember, pothole safety is in your and your car's best interest. Hey, that was pretty good. I think that'd work.
Joining me today is Panaprog President Diana Niemeyer. Thanks for joining me on City Limits.
Thank you for asking us.
Diana, Panaprog is such a tradition in Lakeville. Tell us a little bit about Panaprog itself, how it got started, and a little bit about the executive board and how they coordinate the activities.
Well, as you know, by the buttons every year, we always advertise what annual it is, and of course this year being the 48th annual. So 48 years running, we've been just celebrating the progress of Lakeville. That's pretty much where it started. It's like, hey, our community's developing, it's growing. Let's have a celebration every year just to pat ourselves on the back and say, yeah, we're doing something right here. So, and the board, the executive board, we have the board members and the executive board, of course, being the officers, but the board members do all the work, obviously. They coordinate everything, try to get all the volunteers in order, plan the events. Every year we discuss, should we have new events? Should we cut back on old events? Should we change anything? Nothing's carved in stone. We change it up year to year, try to make it bigger and better all the time.
Right, and obviously it takes hundreds of volunteers then to work on the events as planned by the board.
A lot of volunteers. A couple years ago, Krista Jack joined our team, and she has done a great job in soliciting volunteers. Put it up on the website. You can go to our website and go to volunteers. Sign up for anything you want. We're always welcoming new volunteers. Sometimes you can sign up for a 2-hour button sale, and if that's all you can do, that'd be great. We just always need a few bodies here and there to help us out.
Sure. Well, Diana, are there any new events then that the board has planned?
This year, of course, our biggest new event would be the Craft Beer Festival. We're calling it Battle of the Brew. We're bringing in several craft beer vendors. It will be held at the Art Center on the South Lawn on Saturday from 1 to 4. Hopefully that will be a good time to bring new people downtown to see what else we have going on. It's a big day, Saturday, obviously, but we're going to try it.
And the Battle of the Brew also has some benefactors, doesn't it?
Yes, we're not using all the money for Panaprog events for that particular event. We're going to give some of the money to the city and some of it to the Heritage Center, which would help all the community out in that respect. So.
And this is a ticketed event, I assume, so where can people get tickets for the Battle of the Brew?
Tickets are available at all the Lakeville liquor stores. They can also buy them online and or at the gate. And it is a button event. So if people who aren't familiar with button events, selling the buttons is one of the major ways we pay for all our festival activities. So you'll be asked to just donate $2 for the cause.
And the buttons each year are done by local artists, aren't they?
We do solicit anybody and everybody who wants to sign in, send in a design can do so. A lot of our designers come from the schools, actually from the art departments. So we have to narrow it down because we get more than we can use, and we narrow it down and then we vote.
So the big events for Panaprog culminate with the parade. Are there any changes or anything about the parade that's of importance?
The parade this year is going to be extended to end at Iberia and Heritage Drive. That's the east-west street right off Holyoke, and we just decided with the new ordinance that we would extend it to maybe more people can sit in that area and enjoy the parade. We did that a couple years back. I guess maybe 8. Somebody said it seemed like just a few to me, but and I think it worked out well. We're going to try it again, and like I said, if it doesn't work well, we'll change it up again next year.
Sure. You mentioned the new ordinance. I assume you're talking about the spot saving ordinance. Do you want to describe that a little bit as to what that is and why that came about?
The spot saving ordinance came about mostly because of the enthusiasm of our spectators. Every year it seemed that people were saving spots on the sidewalks, taping their blankets, putting chairs out earlier and earlier, almost to the detriment of the people who live on those streets and who have businesses on those streets. It was starting to block the entrances to the buildings and became kind of a hazard. You know, people could trip on things like that, or if it rained, it would cause a real mess. So we decided that this year you can only save your spot the morning of the event. So for the cruise on Friday night, you can save it. You can start at 9 in the morning, save your spot, as long as you have your items removed by midnight of that night.
Okay.
You cannot save it for 2 days. So then for the parade day, same thing. You can go out at 9 in the morning, save your spot, and then you have to have it removed by midnight. So I know it's going to be bad news for a lot of people, but then again, hopefully everybody will have a safer week.
Yeah, having participated in those discussions, it was getting confrontational between people, that they were trying to save their spots and they were going out many, many days ahead of time. It was becoming unsafe in many conditions. So I know on the city side, working on this ordinance, that if people don't abide, then those items that are left or aren't out at the proper times will actually be collected and removed from the site.
Yes, they will be collected, but they won't be disposed of. People who find that their items are missing, I can go to the city and collect their items for a period of time.
So we mentioned Cruise Night. Talk a little bit about Cruise Night.
Well, Cruise Night is one of our bigger events, obviously. We can get anywhere from 400 to 600 cars at Cruise Night. The weather has a lot to do with that event. I know people take a lot of pride in their antique cars, and they don't like to drive them with threat of rain or dust storms or whatever it might be, because those are their babies. And so we just hope for good weather every year. I know in the last couple of years it's been like 100 degrees out in that parking lot getting ready, but you never know.
Yeah. So we mentioned the two largest events, which are Cruise Night and the parade, but there's another big event that happens on Thursday.
Yes, Thursday night has always been our kickoff night, so to speak. Even though we do have other events during the week, the biggest crowd starts showing up on Thursday night for Beer, Brats, and Bingo. Last year they moved the venue to the Arts Center, which turned out quite well. And they used to be at the VFW, but I think they seem to draw just as big a crowd doing it there as any place.
Yeah, the Arts Center is sort of becoming this area for outdoor events. It's got a nice yard, and it works very well for larger events. So if people want to learn more about this, you mentioned there's a website. Can you talk a little bit about the website and how they might access more information?
Yes, our website is www.panoprog.org. All one word, no dashes in there like we do on some of our paperwork, or no spaces. On the left side, you can click on anything you want, the calendar of events, go to any date you want. You can see what's happening that day. There's the volunteer listed there. There's sponsorships, vendors, pretty much anything you want to know about the Panoprog events are listed on that website.
Diana, thank you for joining me on City Limits today. We all look forward to Panoprog, and I know hundreds and hundreds of hours go in by the volunteers and by the executive board to make it happen. We really appreciate it.
And we have a lot of fun doing it. So again, if anybody wants to volunteer, we're trying to make it as much fun for people as possible, not only for the spectators, but for the volunteers as well.
Did you know that Dakota County activates its outdoor warning sirens for both severe thunderstorms and tornadoes? Sirens are activated depending on the areas of the county included in weather warnings issued by the National Weather Service. Warnings can be on a city-by-city basis or for the entire county. Activation of the sirens can also be triggered by the Dakota Communications Center when notified by local law enforcement officers or a trained network of weather spotters. More information about outdoor warning sirens can be found at the city website.
There comes a time when brews must do battle. Hence, the Brew Battle was born. Join us on Saturday, July 12th from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Lakeville Area Arts Center. Watch as 30 breweries featuring over 100 brews do battle until a champion has been crowned. Shuttle buses will be provided. Check out details at www.lakevillemn.gov. Don't miss Lakeville's Brew Battle.
We remind residents that odd-even watering restrictions are in effect. In addition to the odd-even watering schedule, watering is not allowed between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. on any day. Fines will be imposed for non-compliance with the watering restrictions.
My name is Christy Cox with the Lakeville Heritage Center, and today we're going to be highlighting the Lakeville Active Adults Fitness Program at the Heritage Center. To do so, we're going to be talking to Mickey Schenke. How are you doing today, Mickey?
I'm good, Christy, thanks.
Excellent. So starting out here, Mickey, just curious where your passion came from for fitness.
Well, for me, it started out as a quest for just living a healthier lifestyle. I had always struggled with weight and would lose 40, 50 pounds being on traditional diets, and nothing ever worked. So about 10 years ago, I woke up, it was my birthday, and I just looked in the mirror and said, you just have to stop. Something needs to change. And so I started eating healthy and exercising. I can remember being in my living room with soup cans and started to exercise, and that developed into, working with a personal trainer and so forth. And it helped me get through. I had a lot of health issues along the way, and it helped me bounce back quickly from all of those health issues, such as having hip replacements and so forth. And then in 2011, I had an ovarian cancer diagnosis, and after several months of treatment, I no longer had a job. And so I went to the gym every day for 2 hours just to recover, and I thought, I wish I could do this. This would be fun. And I'm thinking, at my age, what am I going to do? And started researching different professional certifications and zeroed in on a fitness for seniors, and that sort of began my passion. So.
Excellent. What type of benefits can individuals see from participating in the fitness classes?
Everybody can benefit, because as we age, we tend to have joint issues and we tend to hurt more, and as that happens, we tend to be more sedentary and we're just perpetuating the problem. And so it's important to stay active. And so, on a cardio level, all the things we hear, it reduces the chance of heart disease, stroke. High blood pressure can go down, it lowers cholesterol. From a strength standpoint, it reduces, it can improve bone density, flexibility, range of motion. It tones our bodies. It's we have more energy, and also from a mental health standpoint, it's actually been shown to improve issues with anxiety and depression, and self-esteem and so forth. Just because you get out and get active, and it makes you feel better.
What days and what classes are you going to be teaching here at the Lakeville Heritage Center? Okay,
I will be teaching a level 1 class on Fridays at 11 o'clock. It's chair exercises, so everything will be done sitting in a chair or standing, hanging onto a chair, and it's geared towards individuals who maybe have a little bit more limited mobility, maybe use a cane or a walker, have balance issues, can't stand for long periods of time, but they can be perfectly active and participate fully. And then we'll have a level 2 class that's a cardio and a strength class that is a little bit more active adults, and using our body weight, resistance bands, weights, etc. And it's a good time. It's fun, and you get your exercise in.
Excellent. Great to hear. Well, Mickey, we definitely look forward to having you here at the Lakeville Heritage Center, working with the Active Adult Fitness Program. You'll be teaching the Monday, Wednesday, and Friday classes. Well, Mickey, it has been such a pleasure chatting with you today about the upcoming fitness program, and we look forward to having you here.
Thank you. I look forward to it.
Lakeville area active adults are age 50 and over and enjoy many programs like the fitness classes featured in this segment. We are always looking for new members to join and partake in the fun. Members enjoy many benefits and can sign up for numerous activities including trips, classes, seminars, exercise, chorus, dancing, social groups, technology classes, special events, and much, much more. Tap Dance Boot Camp will be occurring Mondays, June 23rd to July 28th. Those who have always wanted to give tap dance a try, come to this 6-week basic boot camp session. Our annual Panaprog Bazaar, Bake Sale, and Garage Sale will be held on July 11th and 12th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. both days. We are looking for crafters. If you make crafts or know a friend who does, you're invited to have a table at our bazaar. Senior Tour of Homes will occur Thursday, June 26th. The tour includes 4 senior living communities in southern Dakota County and will showcase independent living, assisted living, a residential home, memory care, and care suites. We are currently taking registrations for the following trips. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde on the Minnesota Centennial Showboat on Wednesday, July 30th, and Glass Blowing Tour with lunch at Hell's Kitchen on Wednesday, August 13th. Additionally, we are offering a Rails of New England tour featuring Boston, Maine, Vermont, and New Hampshire. See the beautiful and historical sites while enjoying local cuisine and fun stops. Join us for additional programs at the Heritage Center to benefit your health and well-being. Choices include biking, golf and pickleball, using our exercise room, tap dancing, line dancing, Zumba Gold, yoga classes, weight control support and walking club, health insurance counseling, hearing screening and hearing aid cleaning, blood pressure checks, and Happy Feet foot care. Call 952-985-4620 for further information or to register for any of our upcoming programs, or stop by the Heritage Center at 20110 Holyoke Avenue here in downtown Lakeville. We look forward to seeing you here.
Now it's time for the answer to today's trivia question, which is, which of the following home improvements need a building permit? Well, we tried to trick you with this one. All of the following need a building permit. The purpose of a building permit is to make sure your project meets safety and zoning requirements set by the state building code. You can discuss your plans with building inspections before you begin construction to determine whether you need a permit. Here's a look at some of the upcoming public meetings that you can attend at City Hall. The Economic Development Commission will meet on Tuesday, June 24th at 4:30 p.m. The Parks, Recreation, and Natural Resources Committee meets on Wednesday, July 2nd at 6 p.m. The City Council meets on Monday, July 7th at 7 p.m. And the Finance Committee meets on Thursday, July 10th at 7 p.m. For more information on government meetings and the role of our boards and commissions, visit the city website at www.lakevillemn.gov. That's it for this edition of Lakeville City Limits. Thanks for watching. If you experience a problem with your cable TV service here in Lakeville, you should first contact Charter Communications at 1-800-581-0081. If you do not receive a satisfactory response, you can call the city at 985-4407 and we will assist you in resolving your problem. And just a reminder, you can see all of our programming online on the city website at www.lakevillemn.gov. Thanks again for watching this program and all of the programming here on LG TV.